Hello and welcome to Fin Business. Today we are in conversation with Smitha Sudheendra from Kubot. Smitha, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Amma.
We understand Kubot is trying to implement robotic advisory services specifically for the mutual fund industry. Could you give me a perspective on how actually robotic advisory system work for mutual fund industry? Because if you look at the dynamics of the mutual fund industry and specifically the finance industry, corporate agents, brokers and even the normal agents also fail because the penetration is very less. How actually robotic advisory services will make a different impact?
It's a very pertinent question given all the dynamics around us and given the low penetration with all the shosha that we're trying to do, right? So, in my view, digitalization is more, given India as a country which is more humane, it requires more of human touch and feel and so on and so forth. So, I think we're still a long way to go into becoming a total digitalized world. In fact, very interestingly, developed countries like the US, I am told, still has an assisted model and it's not totally digitalized. So I guess we being humans, we still need the human touch. We have a model which is digitalized and an assisted digitalized model. So Kubot is a robot advisory model for mutual funds. It really churns out the various schemes and options that are there. What with the changes that has come in recently by SEBI, that it has made life easier for us to understand each of the scheme. However, you got some 10,000 schemes across 45 AMCs in the country today. Now, how for a common person would he be able to understand which of the scheme to pick and for what and when, right? And how long to stay, when to exit, and so on and so forth, right? So our Robo Advisory tool actually turns out the entire data in terms of the return, the NAVs and various parameters that we have at the back end to help the customer choose the right scheme basis the profiling of the customer and the financial goals that he has. We kind of match the both to give him the right suggestion.
So the immediate question here is, how do you actually profile your customer? How do you make a policy or how do you make your analysis to accomplish his goal?
So there are two ways in which one can do. One, he himself declares that he is so and so person. So there are some people who understand their profiling and say, I'm an aggressive customer, I'm a moderate risk taker, and I'm very conservative. I don't want, so capital protection and so on and so forth. So some people understand that and then they can choose on their own. So we have these options for them to choose and then accordingly we recommend the schemes. For some people, they don't know what risk profiling they come under. And so we have a set of questions which essentially it measures the behavioral traits of a person. So by asking them some situational questions, the answers that they give throws up the behavioral trait of that individual. And then we categorize him or her as aggressive, moderate and conservative. Absolutely. And then we start suggesting. So basically it is about what kind of asset allocation that we need to give in terms of debt equity, percentage, investment. And so this helps us to suggest schemes to them which will fit into the asset allocation. So it's basically arriving at the asset allocation model.
Again, I would like to drag the first point that I was trying to raise in my first question. When you look at the picture of India, demographic picture, the rural and the urban difference, people wants to make money, no doubt about it. Everybody wants to make money. But when it comes to financial literacy, there are a lot of problems. When it comes to wealth management, there are a lot of issues. People still prefer the traditional ways, whether the fixed deposit and the saving deposit. How are you going to break this? Why are you so bullish on your idea?
If I can just go philosophical about the whole thing. As I was telling you that I have had 25 years of stint in the corporate world and worked only with people who have money, frankly. So you're chasing all the people who have a lot of money. Right. We still continue to do that. I have a wealth arm which manages the HNI wealth. But the fintech bit, so after I went through this 24 years of journey and I thought that it's time to contribute to the society in a way, in some way, and look at retail wealth management, if I can really call that, whether it is creation of wealth, helping them save, invest, whatever one would call. But I really wanted to reach out to people. Typically, if you go to the villages or semi-rural and stuff, even to do education for their children, they're taking loans, paying off by mortgaging their house. They're not even able to fulfill the the dreams of the marriage of the girl child and so on and so forth. So because they don't even know that they can save and invest and really create wealth for themselves to the extent of meeting these important life goals of their life, right? So this was there in my mind, and I thought that this could be something, given my background, that I could contribute back. And this is the purpose. And I can tell you, this is the toughest task. As you rightly said, they're so tuned to either gold or fixed deposit. These are the only two asset classes that they must have really experienced. So to go and tell them, go put money in the capital market, and there's no capital guarantee, I'm not giving you interest, it's going to be a horrendous task. It's not an easy task to do. And that's precisely why we got into the model that, okay, I'm going to look at localites. It's about creation of job for them, that he becomes my agent, I give him my platform, and on the platform he onboards the clients, because this guy has a comfort with his localites, right? So he goes and suggests, there's a trust element, because the first factor is about trust. You're saying, I'm not guaranteeing you anything, I'm putting your money in equity, I don't know if you're going to make money or not, but in the long run you're going to make money. This is like for him, he'll start seeing stars.
So when I specifically now ask you about your company, since you're already working on this particular model, what has been your experience?
It has not been easy, as I said, because an agency model, it's a very thin margin product. It's a very thin, so it's not about making money. It's about making money, 5 years from now or 7 years from now, from a business perspective. And it is the same for an agent who is promoting your product as well. So much to convince the person that he can actually make money in the long term itself, the very business proposition is a tough task. And having had him as the agent, educating him, transferring that knowledge is another task. And then the convincing of the client himself to enroll and so on. And there are various logistical issues, like for example, the person need to have a bank account, then he should be a net banking facility available, then he should have a KYC, so an Aadhaar and a PAN and all of these. So these are criteria that needs to be met. Many of them don't have the relevant documents. So you are again going back and telling them, okay, get your Aadhaar done, your name is not equal to your PAN number, so change that and change that. So these are some logistical issues that we have faced, but that's there to live with.
So if you could give me one more, user case study or something like that, what is your operation strategy? How do you actually work? How do you actually tap the person from the rural market?
This is a one-to-many sale. Okay, this can't happen. So we do a lot of customer awareness programs. So we go out to a certain area, and then we may participate in any of the events that they are already doing. So then you get to meet a lot of people. We go and give our own, some information about the product, our company, and so on and so forth. So that's one way of doing it. Then of course, as I said, social media, digital media is another piece. Specifically to go to the rural market, our strategy is 3-4 pronged, if I can say. Microfinance company is one approach of ours. Then the cooperative banks is another set, and identifying agents who can do this business, the fresh graduates and so on and so forth.
And right now you're only focusing on mutual fund.
Yeah, so we want to become a full stack financial product provider. Right now, as I said, we're just a year old, and so we would like to take mutual fund as our entry route. But going forward, we have plan of getting into insurance, typically term insurance, health and motor. And then we are also going to bring a few loan products, the P2P and some personal loans.
So sometime back you said that, it's not very difficult. In fact, it's very hard, and you will take at least 5 years to make money or to even break even. Keeping that point in mind, looking at mutual fund or insurance where the agent commission is not, lucrative anymore now. I think 6-7 years back, SEBI actually vamped the strong commission which agents used to charge on the mutual fund. The same has happened with IRDA.
Yeah.
They, actually reduced the commission on insurance policies. And in a way, now the mutual fund companies and insurance companies have their own apps. Yeah. So for example, if you want to buy a policy from HDFC Life or ICICI Prudential, they have their own applications. The same is with the Mahindra Finance and whatever the mutual fund companies. Don't you think that you will have a tough competition? And if I rephrase my question, how will you beat that competition?
Okay, I don't consider them to be a competition, and I'll tell you the reason. If you see each of the manufacturer having his own portal, his own app and so on and so forth, it is specific to his offering, right? So it's specific to that manufacturer's offering. While they play for themselves. I play on behalf of the client. I'm absolutely manufacturer agnostic. I am not biased to any particular manufacturer. So very dispassionately, we evaluate the performances across category, across AMCs, and then throw up the solution for the customer. So what he will get against what he would get there, if it's a XYZ AMC, he will get to see only theirs and transact on their portal.
Right.
If he comes here, he will get schemes which are best in that category across AMCs on a single platform. And that's the major difference. So that can't be beaten by any manufacturer.
Great. Interesting, Smitha. Thank you so much for sharing those insights with us. That was really comprehensive. Thank you so much for talking to Fin Business.
Thank you, Amol. It was very, very interesting talking to you.
My pleasure. And thank you so much for watching.